Let's talk about that playoff picture for a second, too, because the Bears are, congratulations to Chicago fans. You are no longer, quote, in the hunt.
Thank you, Jesus.
You are the second NFC team to be eliminated. You barely outlasted the Lions.
They are officially eliminated. Good.
And the Giants are still in it, I would imagine, even though they're the same record, right? Because the
Giants are alive.
So, okay, let's be honest. You can cut the list off at Debo's Eagles because the Falcons are not going anywhere. Stop it. Stop.
No, Seattle is who I was going to throw in there.
Stop.
They play. Look. Let's see what happens if Seattle's
okay.
6-8.
You can include everyone up to pick 14.
Yeah, Atlanta out, Carolina out, Giants out, Chicago out, Detroit out. They should have been out 10 weeks ago.
I'll even expand it to 6, although I think the pie is on my face with the 49ers. They're in at 6, but if you want to change your mind, 6 and 7, who gets those seeds?
Just do 7. I think it's just 7.
Okay, I was just trying to be
49ers have the Texans left. They should handle that.
Disrespectful to David Smills, but okay. All right, 7. Who goes?
Nick Caserio on his headset talking to David Culley. Apparently,
is that true?
Did you see that?
No. What was he? What could he possibly be talking to him about?
No. So apparently, Belichick.
How are we going to kill Jack Easterby?
Belichick allowed Caserio to be on the headset in New England,
but he was not a.
No. Is Tom? As long as you're not texting, if you're on the official headset, it's fine.
He was the front office guy in New England. He wasn't the GM, but he was the front office guy. Okay.
But as Tom Curran of NBC Sports or NBC Boston points out, like it was speak when you're spoken to. Like Nick Caserio's not on there like, oh, great play, Josh. That was a great play call, pal. But now he's on there talking about timeouts to David Culley like live during the. Anyway, we're not going to get into the tangent. Point being,
I love that Curran got that too. That's hilarious.
The 7 seed is, I think, where we focus this. And it's Minnesota, New Orleans. I think we keep Washington in there because they're technically alive. Philly and then Seattle. So there's 5 teams.
Breech, where are you on Seattle and being included in this list?
I am fine including Seattle because it is Russell Wilson, and you don't want to cut out somebody who's literally never had a losing record in his career. That doesn't mean I think they are going to get the wild card spot, but they have the Lions, the Bears, which are very winnable games, and they play the Cardinals and Rams, and those are division games. And Seattle's playing division games.
I would just leave them in there for now. I don't think they'll make it, but I do think 9 and 8 probably get you in.
The Seahawks have more division wins this year than the 49ers.
That's crazy.
All right, so give me the 7th pick.
If I would go New Orleans. If I'm ranking my choices, New Orleans 1, Minnesota 2. Sorry, Debo. Seattle 3, Philly 4, Washington 5.
Seattle 3. Wow. I'll go.
The Lions and the Bears left.
That team is not good. They have one player who has.
Watch the Bears.
They should have won.
You sound like me.
The Bears are basically the Seahawks. I mean, they're very similar.
Seattle will light up that secondary.
Justin Fields might. Well, he has.
Anyway, I mean, look, Seattle's probably not making it, but if Seattle goes, the question is, does 9 and 8 get you in as the 7 seed?
I think it will get one of these teams in, but
yes,
even if Seattle goes 9 and 8, the math might be as such where they don't get in.
I mean, the Cardinals stink. Seattle can beat the Rams if it's a hero.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of yourself. They got to get in first. Are you just talking about the rest of the regular season?
I'm saying they could go 4-0 and finish 9 and 8 and be all of a sudden in the playoffs.
And if a bunch of these teams finish at 9 and 8, if you have a giant, huge tiebreaker, the team with the best conference record definitely is not the Seahawks. They are 2 and 6. They are pretty much dead in the water.
Shout out to Atheist for the Cause. He mentioned that in the chat, and Breech didn't give him credit for it, but okay.
I don't even have the chat open.
There is literally a conference record list up there. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's great. Appreciate the note in the chat, but like, there's literally.
I'm trying to make the fans feel good and hit the like button, and you're sticking up for Breech
and trying to make me feel horrible.
Yeah.
And then obviously,
that like button, by the way.
Well, you see, Washington's at 5 and 3, and so I think that makes them interesting because. If they just go 2 and 2, well, they can't go 2 and 2 because that's not. If they get to 9 and 8, that means they are going to be 8 and 4 in the conference. So
I'm glad you asked that question, Breech. I'm going with the Saints, the Eagles, Washington, Minnesota, and you can put Seattle at the end there.
I think these NFC East teams are gonna just like beat each other up in an ugly way. Not like, prize fighters hitting each other, just, sort of
Like a slap fight.
or like, I'm not saying that, my dad used to send me and my brother out into the yard to fight it out. Loser, winner walks in the house. But I mean, hypothetically speaking, if that was the case.
My neighbor was over the other night for pre-Christmas hanging out drinks, and he said when he was the youngest of three brothers, and his grandfather, this is back in the 80s, they would go in the basement, and his grandfather had to babysit him, and the grandfather would sit in his lazy boy, have the youngest one, my buddy, put on pads. They're all lacrosse players, and they would just fight. And when they would get, like he said, he had more concussions between ages 8 and 15 than he did when he played college lacrosse. So it could be like that too. Just take him downstairs and start wailing on him.
And look, the 49ers are not guaranteed to get in. They're at the Titans on Thursday.
Well, you said we just shouldn't even include them. I think it feels. I think it feels pretty good.
Yeah, they're 80-ish% to get in. They wanted the Bears to win tonight, and they wanted the Bucks to win last night.
Yeah, 1 out of 2 ain't
Okay,
bad.
well, then they would have 0-2. If that had happened, if that had happened, they would have a full 2 games up on everyone else.
And if they get upset on Thursday, that opens a whole different can of worms, because then you're thinking, oh my God, maybe they don't make it because they'd still have to play the Rams, and you feel like the Texans game is a gimme. But
well, you know who that'd be great news for, Breech?
Who's that? Russell Wilson.
Eric R. Debo.
Getting the Eagles in.
That's right.
But the Niners are guaranteed at worst a 500 conference schedule because they play the Titans and Texans. So
the Eagles are right now 4-4, and they have I think they have all conference games, right? I mean, all division games, right?
Right, but Washington's 5-3, and they have all NFC games left.
Well, you can't talk yourself into both Washington and Philly. Like it's going to be.
Well, you can't.
And that's the thing. Brinson, I agree with you. I agree with you that the NFC East teams beat up on each other, knocking each other out. So I think that leaves the Vikings and the Saints.
Yeah, I think those NFC East teams do this like round robin sort of smack around where they end up.
Yeah, but all it takes is one team in the NFC to get in the NFC East to get hot.
And Philadelphia's playing every team that got hit hard with COVID so far. Like the Browns lost, the Bears just lost. They had 14 players, and so now if this trend continues, that means Washington's going to lose because they're missing a bunch of players. And I don't know about Rams Seahawks because they've both been hit by COVID.
Debo, I don't want to bring this up, but I have to ask it. Jalen Hurts is coming back from an ankle injury. I'm assuming you'd rather have Jalen Hurts play than Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, if they feel like he's good to go, he's good to go in my book.
What about I'll put the numbers on it. 78% Jalen or 100% Gardner?
That makes it. I think you probably take 100% Gardner. 78% is not too high.
All right, I appreciate your honesty.
Debo doesn't have his blinders on. I was hoping he would say Gardner Minshew there. Don't knock my 3rd round guy, Gardner Minshew.
100 versus 78. Nah, I'm not taking those.
85 to 100.
Yeah, it might be Gardner there too. I mean, if Hurts struggles, I think first quarter, and you can see that it's injury related tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if they went to Minshew tomorrow.
So you're willing to put off the who's the quarterback talk if that helps going back and forth helps get the Eagles to the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't think it's like Gardner Minshew is going to be the week 1 starter in 2022. I don't think that needs to happen. But to get them in the playoffs, I'm for who gives them the best chance.
And unfortunately for Debo, one twist with Tuesday's games.
Passive aggressive breach. Go ahead.
Is that the Eagles cannot be in the 7th seed heading into week 16. If Washington wins, it will be Washington. And if the Eagles win, it will be Minnesota.
Why does that matter?
Well, I'm just saying that
he just wanted to be a jerk.
They're going to be on the outside.
Hypothetically, the season could end like on Wednesday.
I'm explaining the playoff situation heading into week 16.
Oh, the tiebreaker.
That's what we're doing here, right?
I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
You're being a passive aggressive.
He's peacocking because the Browns lost.
But ultimately, if the Eagles finish
I just
10-7 and the Saints finish 10-7, or the Eagles finish 9-8 and the Saints also finish 9-8, the Eagles get in, right, Breech? Because of that head-to-head matchup.
Wait, if what?
If the Eagles and Saints finish with the same record,
right?
That makes me feel better.
But as long as there's no 3-way tie, because then that throws things into chaos.
Right.
Can't wait for the Bengals to lose in the first round of the playoffs. For people asking in the chat, you can hit the dunk button if you want, Brinson. I saw you go in that direction. No,
wear the hats for the people who won the.
Well, I saw you mentioned in the chat.
They're at Wilson's tattoo shop.
No. What a big! Actually, I UPS them today. Debo's going to get them this week.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to clarify that because I saw you mentioned in the chat that they're at my house. They're no longer at my house.
Yeah,
the curse has been lifted.
Not on Wilson anymore.